Hi guys, Assassin here, and welcome to the second series of Gotham review. In this episode of the Silent Assassin Reviews TV shows, I'm going to be reviewing Gotham Season 2. This season is probably... It's very different in a lot of ways to Gotham Season 1. And by this I mean, in Gotham Season 1 it was very crime bossy. I mean, there was some sort of, to lack of a better word, supernatural elements to it. So like in the first series there was the Venom virus and there was the Electrocutioner and all these other things. The second series really opened up the world of Batman and how some of the weird shit can be in there, like Mr. Freeze, spoilers again, Mr. Freeze, the Maniacs, the bringing people back to life, Firefly, all these other villains that are like sort of a little bit too super powered-y for what we thought could be done in Gotham Season 1, because Gotham Season 1 was very grounded and very just like a noir crime thriller, which I loved a lot. Like, I loved the crime thriller thing, and I loved that it was sort of a new take on the series, on the new on the Batman mythos. But I also really liked Season 2, especially the first 3 episodes, and I mentioned a little bit about this character. Well, I restrained myself from mentioning this character in the first part of this, because I wanted to talk about him in this video. That character being, in the first 3 episodes, along with the rest of the Maniacs, Jerome Velasca. He was amazing. Cameron, I think his name's Cameron something, I honestly can't remember his other name. I am so sorry to that actor. He was in Shameless. He is, oh my god, as Jerome Velasca, he is absolutely brilliant. I really hope he comes back in Season 3. Jerome Velasca, to me, is so far the ideal young version of the Joker. So, like, my friend said to me, he doesn't really look like the Joker, because he loves Heath Ledger. I mean, I love Heath Ledger, everyone loves Heath Ledger. But to me, if we was to have a new Batman, like in the modern times with, well, not Ben Affleck, because I don't really like Ben Affleck's Batman, even though I haven't seen Batman vs Superman or anything. Well, actually, no, I saw Suicide Squad and that had Ben Affleck in it, but nah. I just don't like Ben Affleck's Batman. I like having a younger Batman so that he can like move, so you can put, so you can move the story on. So like, the problem I have with Ben Affleck's Batman is he's too old already. Like, stuff has already happened to him, and I know that could be a good idea if you were like doing, I've lost myself. It would be a good idea if we already knew some of the backstory of him. And I suppose it does add something like, oh, it's an older Batman, stuff's already happened to him, he's already been in retirement and gonna come back out. But if you're gonna make a million, billion, whatever dollar or pound movie franchise, don't you want to start at the beginning? Like Batman Begins, that started off with Batman as sort of a younger version, well, not that young, but sort of, well, Batman Begins, it's in the title, when he first begins. And having Batman already be a thing, I don't really like that. I like, have Batman young, say about, like, really, really late teens, early 20s, mid-20s, sort of that. Don't have him, like, 40 or 50. So, put him, like, in early as possible so you can have younger villains, such as Jerome Velasca from Gotham. He's a young version of the Joker to me, because he's just... Like, anyone who says that Jerome Velasca isn't the Joker is just lying to themselves. How much more of the Joker can you fit into one character? His catchphrase is, "There's nothing more contagious than laughter." He laughs a lot, he laughs all the time. He is the Joker in Gotham, there is no denying that. I'm sorry, I'm getting really passionate about this character. I'll talk about my views on Batman another time. But yeah, Jerome Velasca, absolutely amazing. I love his character. I want him to be in the next series. I really do. I want him to become the Joker. Moving on from Jerome Velasca, otherwise we could make this into an hour-long video. Another pro about the series. The murder of the Waynes thickens. So in the first series, Didn't really find out too much. They found out that Wayne Enterprises may have something going on with the Wayne's murders, and that they were hiding stuff from Bruce Wayne. In the second sorry about that was my phone. In the second series, Bruce Wayne actually finds out that someone who worked with his dad, named the Philosopher, aka Hugo Strange, was actually, or had something to do with it. Now, this the Wayne's murder plot thickening, that'll also become a con later on, so I'll talk about the cons after all the pros. But yeah, I love how they're keeping with the Wayne murders, and it's getting like even more deep into it, and having Gordon still determined to find out who killed Bruce Wayne's parents and why they were killed. I just love the fact that he's so dedicated GCPD member. See, that's that one. The use of, and going into the Wayne murders as well, is the cult of Saint Dumas. Now, I didn't know much about the cult of Saint Dumas before Gotham. I sort of knew that Azrael was in there, and that was about it. Because like Azrael was Jean-Paul Valley, I think his name was, who special bonus bit. Jean-Paul. No, sorry, not Jean-Paul. My character in Legion Rush Budgeted Hero movie, John Paul, is actually a parody of sorts of the name Jean-Paul Valley from Batman. So yeah, Easter eggs. It's a twisted name. Woo! Don't know why I thought of using a twisted version of Jean Paul and making it into John Paul as the character's name, but there we go. But yeah, loved the fact that we actually learned. It actually taught me something about the Batman mythos, about the Dumas, and how they were a part of creating Gotham with the Waynes, the Elliots, and some of the others, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I actually learned something about the Saint Dumases, not Dumases, the Dumas. Going along with this, Theo Galavan, I don't know whether to put this in the pros or the cons. He was pretty good. I hate him for the fact that he killed Jerome Velasco. Grrr, don't hurt my Jerome. But he was a decent villain. Sort of. I found him pretty meh compared to the, I mean, actually I'll come back to Theo Galavan in the cons now that I've really thought about it, because I've just remembered a massive plot point that happens to the Penguin and Theo Galavan, so I'll leave that one. I love that when he dies, he comes back as Azrael, like Hugo Strange brings him back as Azrael. I love that. That is a brilliant way to bring a character back. I mean, I know Azrael, I would have preferred him to be played by Jean-Paul, not played by, would have preferred him to be Jean-Paul Valley, but I liked Theo Galavant's attempt. And probably got another chance anyway, because I'm sure that he won't be the last. Moving on again to, Detective Barnes. I decided to put that in the pros. So the ex-captain gets killed by Jerome Velasco. Still, again, love you, Jerome. I mean, I'm sorry for the captain, but Jerome. Yeah, ex-captain dies, and then they have to get a new captain, and basically that captain is everything Jim Gordon wanted before he killed before he started doing the dodgy dealings. So he wanted someone exactly like Detective Captain Barnes. Unfortunately, this all happened after he sort of went a bit to the dark side and then came back. So it was like, oh yeah, finally we have someone who we really needed. Hang on a minute, he's cracking down on corrupt cops. Weren't you just gone a little bit corrupt at the end of the last series? Ah, shit. It was the perfect yes and no moment at the same time with Detective Barnes, and I really hope he, even though Harvey Bullock at the end of the series becomes stand-in captain, I do hope he comes back. But again, I hope Harvey stays captain, so I don't really know. I like them both. So yeah, I think that's most of the pros. I think I spent a bit too long on Jerome Velasco, but again, favourite character. There's alright, I didn't mention this in the last video, but there's probably a lot more points that I could have made about Gotham Season 1 and 2, but that I just, if you want to hear more, then just watch the series. It's worth it, trust me. Every TV show I say on here, I'll either say it is worth it or not. Gotham is definitely worth watching. It is just brilliant. However, moving on to the cons of Season 2 now. So we'll start off at the end with the ending. Cliffhanger. Again. You're going to pull this every season in Gotham? I mean, come on. This is just silly. Like, so at the end of Gotham Season 2, the Court of Owls was introduced to be behind Hugo Strange, which at the start of the series, well, actually, was it the start? Well, in the sort of midpoint of the series, we were led to believe that Hugo Strange was sort of the big boss. No, he's actually working for someone as well, and so the plot thickens. I really hope they don't end Season 3 with, oh, but the Court of Owls was actually working for these people, and then we have to go for them, and then so on and so on. The cycle continues. I really hope they actually are just running Gotham and something's going to happen to them, because it's getting a bit far-fetched that everything's sort of connected into these different things and someone's always controlling someone else. But yes, the cliffhanger, again, not a fan of the cliffhanger if you do it this often. Also, having Bruce's doppelganger and all these other creatures unleashed onto Gotham. Should have put this as a pro, because it was, having all the things unleashed and the promise of weird shit to come in Season 3. So yeah, that's a plus. Something I didn't really like was sort of at the halfway point / near the end, Jim Gordon leaving the GCPD. Now, I've heard that in Season 3 he isn't doing too well, becomes a bounty hunter and sort of brings in the monsters from Hugo Strange's bus that crashed. I don't really like that concept, that the man who's supposed to be sort of above the law and not corrupt, from the guy that we saw in Season 1, I don't believe he could become a bounty hunter using stuff that's against the law to further the needs of the law. But I do like the concept, but I really hope that he becomes a member of the GCPD again at some point in the third series, because I just don't like him like going rogue like this. It scares me, because it's like Jim Gordon's always like a dedicated member of GCPD doing things by the book sometimes, but doing this, it just doesn't feel right, man. So yeah, please join the GCPD again, Jim. It'll do me a big favour. The murder of the Waynes. The plot thickens. Yes, the plot thickens into the third series. I mean, we found the murder. We know who the murderer was, even though he killed himself. We found out who he is, but we now don't know who sort of orchestrated the whole thing, because originally we thought it had something to do with maybe the was it the Falcones? I think it had maybe something to do with Falcones at some point, but then it had something to do with Theo Galavan, then it had something to do with Hugo Strange, then it had something to do with the Wayne Enterprises itself and the Court of Owls now in Season 3. So I really hope that they at least find out some more proof. It's either I really want them to find out or not find out who orchestrated the whole thing, and just make it quicker. Like, either Bruce gives up in some dramatic way, or they actually find out. I mean, I know they probably won't, because that's sort of the main focus of the series and why Batman became Batman, but it's getting a little bit repetitive now after 2 series. I mean, I still like it, but I would like them to sort of progress it on a bit, because it's just been a massive goose chase at this point. There was another point I was going to make, and I can't for the life of me remember it now. I think it might have been Theo Galavan and the Penguin. The Penguin in Season 2, I feel, was, to lack of a better word again, shat on, because, like, the Penguin, the massive crime lord who runs Gotham and has massive armies behind his back and has plans for every eventuality in Season 1, is just lost in Season 2. Like, his mummy gets stolen by Theo Galavan. Oh, and then he becomes his bitch. Again, lack of a better word. He becomes Theo Galavant's lapdog, and it's like, come on, Penguin. Just kill him or torture him or do something that'll make him stop having your mum caged up so you can actually become a badass again. Of course, well, not of course, but it gets resolved sort of when Theo Galavant kills his mum, and then... Okay then, I've never seen that. sign before. Theo Gallivant kills his mum, and then he's like, then Penguin runs off, and he ends up going to Arkham Asylum claiming that he's insane. Then he gets quote unquote cured by Doctor Strange, who actually just does experiments on him. Then he goes and meets his dad, which was, I think that was a pretty good idea. Sort of a nice way to sort of try to bring him back. Then obviously his dad dies, and then he goes insane again. And I like that, but again, I would have preferred to see more of the Penguin we knew from Series 1. The sort of one as an answer for every problem in Gotham. The one that sort of knows everyone, the one that's got information coming out of his ears. Not the guy we see in Season 2, where it's just like, oh, my mum's been kidnapped. I mean, I know it would be a completely natural reaction, but he's a crime lord, for God's sake. You don't have to grovel at someone's feet. And he could have done a better job of sort of getting Butch to go undercover. Cutting his hand off was just... I mean, it didn't work against Gallivant at all. It was just like he wanted to just inflict pain onto someone. And, yeah... Again, so Penguin was probably my biggest problem in Season 2, for the fact that he didn't really contribute anything. In fact, he took it away because he was like this bad man crime boss, and now he's just pussy faggot. And no, I'm not saying that in like the F word in a bad way, like as if like it's normally said like towards certain type of people. I'm saying that word meaning I can't really explain it. I'm not trying to insult anyone by saying that word, because I know some people think it means something. I mean that word as turning him into someone who doesn't want to fight, who's proper, like a pussy, is the best way I can describe it. So yeah, I just want to clear that up before I start getting mobbed, because that's not what I mean. I'm not trying to insult that group of people. I'm just trying to say that he's, well, that's not, I've never considered that F word. I'm not going to say it again. That F word, never considered that to be the correct way of calling this certain group of people, and you already know which group of people I mean when I say that. I have nothing wrong with them, but yeah. Go to You Are Fantastic and find out about that. Jesus Christ, I wish I never made that. Anyway, back onto the topic. Gotham Season 2, overall, I really liked it. I've only just finished that one actually a few days ago. Really liked it. Could even say loved it, but again with a few cons. It annoyed me, but apart from that, I really do want to see where Season 3 goes. I've heard the Mad Hatter's in it. He could be a cool villain if he's done properly, and I hope he's done in the way I think he will be, and not in another way I think he'll be. Like, the Mad Hatter for me will always be, and I know this sounds really bad that I want him to become this, but I just think it works with his character better, and there's no other way of saying it other than I think the Mad Hatter in the Batman mythos is a paedophile. And I know that sounds really bad saying I want him to become a paedophile in the series, but that's just his character, and I really just want them to stick to that story, because I think it could just be compelling with other characters to see how it would react to other characters and what sort of their stories would be and how they would deal with this evil, sick, I have no words. But yeah, I really hope they go with that and not that he's some sort of magician boss of crime sort of thing who wants to take over Gotham, who has hypnosis or mind control. I really hope he's not just going to become one of those people. I hope he actually does become a... It sounds really bad saying I want someone to become a paedophile. Anyway, I've dragged this episode on way too long, and I feel as though I've spoken about other topics more than I have about actual Gotham. But yeah, Gotham Season 2, absolutely loved it. I'd say just as much as Season 1 or more. It's just brilliant. But yes, I think I'm going to end it there, otherwise I'm just going to ramble on for days. I've heard that's one of my problems of mine, that I ramble on a lot. Can you tell? Anyway, I've been SHAREfactory, you've been yourselves, and thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you did like it, and yeah.